So in this video, I want to talk about mindset, and I want to talk specifically about how you can start to brainwash yourself to achieve your goals and get more success, which might sound a bit weird, but it will make a whole lot of sense after you watch this video. And I will give you a ton of resources, a ton of tools that you can use, and I will also prompt you to start a 30-day challenge. And embarking on a 30-day challenge like the one that I will give you in this video can be extremely powerful. Working on my mindset is truly the main thing that got me to break free from the old day job that I used to have back in 2015, to then completely start to think differently and get inspired by other people way ahead of me, to actually get the confidence, or get confidence enough to start my own business and eventually building it to generating millions of dollars per year. And since I started, I've invested over $500,000 into learning from other people way ahead of me. And I've also read a ton of books about mindset, and it has helped me tremendously. It's by far the biggest reason behind my success, by working on my mindset continuously. So in this video, I want to break down everything that I've learned so that hopefully you start to implement this to your own life as well. And I've also condensed it and synthesized it into a 30-day challenge that you can start using today. So without further ado, let's just dive right into it. I've created a presentation for you. So 30-day mindset challenge, how to brainwash yourself for success. And here's what I want to cover in today's video. Before I dive into the challenge and giving you all of the resources and tools and telling you exactly what you should do on a daily basis and what you shouldn't do on a daily basis, I want to go over three mindset principles and also a bonus principle. It's super important that we just lay out the groundwork first before you start implementing any of this. And my hope is that as many people as possible watching this video do this 30-day challenge and test it, because I would love to hear you guys' feedback. And doing something like this completely changed my life, and I truly believe that it can change your life as well. After those principles, I want to go over the actual 30-day challenge and what it entails. Then I want to give you some useful tools that I use on a daily basis and that I highly recommend that you use as well. And finally, I want to give you 5 book recommendations. Leaders are always readers, and most people nowadays don't read enough, or rather they don't read anything. Most people are doom scrolling or constantly having entertainment via news or drama or movies or TV series or games, all of this stuff, right? So if you can start to replace that type of entertainment that is literally brainwashing you on a daily basis with some books, it will help you a lot. And also those useful tools that I will give you are pretty cool stuff that I truly hope that you start using. Now, before we begin, let's start about those 3 mindset principles first. And this is super crucial. And the first one I want to cover is called who do you listen to, right? So who do you listen to? This is absolutely crucial. Whenever you're wanting to achieve something, you must listen to somebody and learn from someone who first of all has what you want, right? So only listen to people that has achieved what you want to achieve. Don't take opinions as facts from people who has no idea what they're talking about. If someone knows, but they don't do that specific thing, they don't know. They have no idea. So this is the first thing that I want you to keep in mind as you go through your life, essentially, is whenever you want to learn something, always look for someone who's really good at that thing that you want to learn, right? And don't learn from people who don't know what they're talking about. There's a lot of people out there who pose as they know certain things, and they don't have the proof to actually back it up, right? So be very careful about who you listen to, and always try to listen to people who have what you want. And you don't have to listen to the best person in the world to do this. You just need to identify where you are right now and where you want to go, and then listen to an individual who has been able to achieve that. The next thing is that you need to make sure that this individual also has been where you are, right? So only listen to people that has been where you are right now. They have been going through what you're currently going through. If they've done that, they will be able to guide you as well. So don't let the blind lead the blind. This is just a core fundamental, and it sounds very obvious, but this is super important. Always and only listen to people who have what you want, and has been where you are currently. The second thing I want to cover super quickly is something called teachability index. So it's extremely important to be conscious of and consistently check yourself on the teachability index. The minute you lose sight of this is the minute that you start losing. Only individuals with extremely high teachability index can continuously win. And it goes like this. So the first thing is willingness to learn. So check yourself on a scale 1 to 10. How willing are you to learn right now, right? The minute you stop learning is the instant someone more hungrier than you comes and steals your lunch. You must constantly be willing to learn and improve. It never ends. The minute you think that you're the best in the world or know it all is the minute you start losing. And it's a trap because quite a lot of people end up there. They achieve their goal, they build their business to whatever they want to build it to, they achieve a thing, or they get an award for something. Maybe they're an athlete and they become the champion, and that has been their goal for a long time, and now they kind of start to slack off because they're the best in the world, and before you know it, somebody else comes and steals their belt, right? So you always have to be willing to learn new things and constantly have that mindset of that you want to learn, right? The minute you think that you know it all is the minute you lose. And then also a willingness to accept change. This is also huge. So on a scale 1 to 10, how willing are you to actually accept change? It's not enough just to learn new things. If you know but you don't do, you don't know, right? You must be willing to step out your comfort zone and accept new change, implement what you learn, invest in yourself, and constantly improve, right? So that is what the teachability index is. First of all, willingness to learn, 1 to 10. And then second, willingness to accept change. Obviously, you want to have as high willingness to learn as possible and as high willingness to accept change as possible as well. Because it's not enough just to learn new things. You actually have to implement it and be willing to change as well. How can you expect different results in your life if you don't change anything in your life, right? And a lot of people are willing to learn, but they're not that willing to accept change. And you have to step out your comfort zone and do things that you haven't done before that might be very uncomfortable to most of the time reach the things that you want to reach, right? You have to learn how to build a product, let's say, if it comes to business, or learning how to do a sales call, or learning how to do outreach, right? And me personally, I've invested over $500,000 into coaching, consulting, courses, and masterminds since 2017. And the first course that I ever bought was for $2,000. And I literally had to lend some money from my parents to be able to buy that thing. I was literally broke. But that was the kickstart that got me onto this journey. And I'm extremely thankful to myself that I took that leap. So constantly bet on yourself and go all in. Every single time I've invested money to learn from people who have what I want and has been where I am, and I buy that thing, whatever that is, coaching or consulting or online course or a mastermind, and I go in with a high teachability index, meaning that I go in with the mindset as a student, right? I want to learn and I'm willing to accept and implement what I learn as well. Those two things are extremely important, right? Learn from people way ahead of you that have what you want and have been where you're at, and then be willing to learn from them and actually implement what they teach you as well. The third thing is something called the training balance scale. So the training balance scale, it weighs the importance between mindset, the mindset part, and the action part. And most people think that it's like 90% action and like 10% mindset. The problem though is that most people don't even have a goal, nor are they obsessed about that goal enough. So you must make sacrifices for a goal, and if you don't, the goal becomes the sacrifice, right? And there's a lot of people out there, like the more successful people I listen to and I learn from, they're all into the mindset part of it because they understand how important that is. And every single time I hear somebody who kind of downplays the mindset, they're normally not that successful. And then there are people who are kind of successful and they also downplay the mindset. They're like, no, it's all action, it's all input, and you only have to do the work. But most of the time, those people who kind of downplay the mindset part, they're doing the mindset part anyways. Maybe not even being conscious of it. First of all, they know very well what they want, right? They have a definite chief aim or definite goal, and they're obsessed about that goal. And they think about that goal all the time, and they put their time and action behind that goal all the time as well. They're constantly thinking about what they want, and they're just working super hard towards that goal as well. So even if there's somebody super successful downplaying the mindset part, they're doing that anyways, right? And yes, so back to it. The training balance scales, it's basically how much attention should you put into the mindset part and how much should you put into the action part. So let's talk about the next point. And the truth is that it's 90% mindset, right? In reality, especially in the beginning, especially when you're starting out, you must spend extreme attention to your mindset. You must brainwash yourself. You must replace all of your old limiting beliefs and the self-image that you have of yourself. You can't be the same and expect change, right? You must change to experience change. And you change by changing your thinking first. And the people who say that mindset is dumb, either they aren't that successful themselves, or they're not aware that they are even doing the mindset work anyways, as I talked about previously, right? Because every single successful person out there that I've been able to talk with and meet, they always have a very clear goal, and they're extremely obsessed with it. And they are constantly doing things that are in line with their goal. And the problem with people that are just starting out, or maybe they have a business, but it's not that successful yet, and I would put myself in that category as well. Like, I made $4 million in the past 2 years, but compared to the other people who make way more than me, I have a lot of mindset work to work on as well. I need to get more clear, defined goals. I need to identify what I need to be able to work on to make that happen as well, right? So the mind always comes before action, right? If you don't know what you're trying to achieve, how can you expect to achieve it? And I think that is the biggest problem when people start out, is that they focus too much on the action part. You're trying to learn new skills and new things, which is great, but you don't really know why you're learning it and what you're trying to apply it to. So in the beginning, spend most of the time on identifying, what do you want? What is it that you want to achieve? What does that look like, right? And then 10% action. So action is extremely important, obviously, but speed without direction gets you to progress in the wrong direction. And action without a destination makes you basically run in circles. And most people have no idea what they want. They have never sat down and clearly defined what they want. So don't be like most people, and I'll show you how to fix this today. So before you just start panicking and going super hard into action and learning a bunch of stuff, which is great to do, spend a lot of time on your mindset. And what I see most people do is that they're learning new things, but they're never changing their own self-image. They never spend enough time to knowing what they want. And they're letting all of this other noise out there, like social media and doom scrolling and TV series and movies and all this stuff, to kind of brainwash them and get to think about a bunch of other stuff. And then they do all of this busy work, not knowing what they actually want. So what I'm going to show you today in today's video is how to, first of all, remove all of this noise out there. Clearly define what you want. I will give you some super powerful exercises that you can use on a daily basis to start to brainwash yourself continuously on what you want, so you constantly stay focused on what it is, that the thing that you're trying to achieve. And then when you take the action towards those things, it will be a lot more clearer, and you will also get ideas for new things that you need to learn and new things you need to implement to get that specific thing that you want. And here's also a little bonus thing before we dive into the 30-day challenge, and that is to track your progress, right? So once you know your goal, you must track your progress towards that goal. It's kind of out of the scope of this video, but I still want to plant the seed into your head. You must track it with graphs so that you can see if you're progressing towards your goal or if you're moving away from your goal. So once you know what your goal is, and once you are constantly brainwashing yourself, staying focused on that goal, and you're also taking action which is in line with that goal, it's really good to start to progress, or to graph or track your progress towards that goal. So you can see that if you're moving towards it, or if you're stagnant, or if you're moving away from it. It's a little bit out of the scope of this video, but that's something I just wanted to plant in your head, which is super powerful to do. And if you look at all of the biggest businesses in the world, they're tracking literally everything. Every single metric in their business, they track on the weekly basis or on a daily basis. And they get reports on how they're progressing towards it, which is great, because now they can identify what is the thing that they need to fix. Now, let's talk about this 30-day challenge, and I want to give you some super useful tools as well. So the first thing is a daily schedule. And if you don't have the discipline to follow a daily schedule, you literally don't have the discipline to do shit. And it's a super simple thing to create, but it's pretty hard to follow, right? It's like deciding that you're going to go to the gym, and you do that for 2 days, but then you don't follow through on it. And people that I meet, again, that are very successful, they have a daily schedule, and they do that every single day. And that's why they get so much done as well. So I want to give you a daily schedule template today. Also, I want you to create a success brainwash audio, which might sound weird, but it's super powerful. So you listen to it first thing in the morning, as you fall asleep, and multiple times throughout the day. And this is how you start to reprogram yourself for success as well. And what I mean by reprogramming yourself for success can be multiple different things, whatever your goal is. But the first thing is just to identify what that thing is that you want, right? And then you just feed that into your head over and over and over and over and over again. So you subconsciously start to think about that, or you have that with you all the time. You don't have that crazy doom scrolling video that you saw 10 minutes ago, or that movie that you just watched, or that crazy drama news that you saw on the TV when you ate your lunch. But you're having your goal and what you want constantly top of mind, but it also starts to seep into your subconscious, and before you know it, you start to dream about those things that you put in your success brainwash audio. And what's really cool about that is that then you start to get ideas where you don't really know where from, and it guides you towards where you need to go, which I'm a little bit careful about going that deep in this video, because some of you might think that's a bunch of woo-woo and weird stuff. But just to put it simply, right, there is a thing where people tell you to go and sleep on it, right? So if you've been working all night on a problem, you can't figure it out, and then you go to sleep, and then you wake up in the morning, then you know exactly what to do. It's the same principle here. If you can start to put into your brain exactly what you want, your brain will work on that as you're sleeping. And when you wake up and you do this over a longer period of time, you will start to get ideas and be motivated to do things that you wouldn't have been able to get those ideas or be motivated to do those things unless you had started to brainwash yourself for that specific thing. So I want to give you a template for that as well. Then the third thing is something called the definite chief aim and a character worksheet. So you want to create a definite chief aim text. You want to write it down, exactly what you want to achieve, and I will give you a template for that. Also design your character, and you want to read this every morning and every night as well. And this is taken from the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which is a classic, which I can highly recommend that you read. Then it's also very powerful to have an annual planner, so I will give you that as well. So plan your work and then work your plan. And then I want to cover some bonuses here as well. But let's go over these things first. So first of all, you have the daily schedule. So here's an example of my daily schedule. You can keep it super simple, or you can start to customize it as much as you want, right? And what we're going to do later in this video is that we're going to take all of those simple worksheets, we're going to print them out, and we're going to clamp them together, and we're going to have multiple copies of it, and you're going to have multiple copies throughout your house. You're going to have one beside your bed, you're going to have one at your workstation, you're going to have one, I have one here on my table in front of me, like in maybe you're in the living room where you work a lot, whatever that might be, right? But here's the thing, have a clear time when you wake up in the morning. It doesn't have to be 5 a.m. and you don't have to go to sleep at 9 p.m. as well unless you want to, but have a clear wake up time and a bedtime. And the reason why I go to bed at 9 is because most of the time you don't really do anything productive after 9 anyways. Normally after 9 is when you spend time on your phone doom scrolling, or watching movies or TV series, or just doing some random stuff, right? You're not really doing anything productive. So I prefer to sacrifice that stuff by going to bed early and then wake up early as well, right? Then immediately when I wake up, I'll listen to my audio, or I'm sorry, I meditate. And I want to talk about meditation later in this video, and what meditation is and what it's not. And hopefully I can inspire you to look into meditation a bit more. It completely changed my life. And yeah, we'll talk more about that later. But I do that immediately when I wake up. Then after that, I listen to my audio that I will teach you how, like this brainwash audio that I will show you how to set up. I listen to that for about 20 minutes. So I meditate for 20 minutes. I listen to my audio for 20 minutes. Then I normally just like lay in bed for like 10 minutes just to visualize a bit. And because now I've been meditating, I've been emptying my head, I've been sleeping, I've been meditating, completely emptying my head, I've been listening to my audio, kind of half asleep. And then I just like to spend like 10 minutes just to lay there and think about kind of what it is that I'm trying to build or achieve right now, right? Then I read my definite chief aim text, right? So now we're 50 minutes in since I woke up, and I do that for about 10 minutes. So, and then I jump on my bike and I do like an exercise in the morning, right? So this is pretty nice because I wake up at 5, but I'm really laying in bed for like an hour. That's how I like to do it. Because first thing in the morning is when your brain waves is in like theta mode or in the theta waves. It's like you're super relaxed, and it's a very nice time period of the day to start to think about your goals, because you can dream and you can think, and you haven't watched your phone yet, you haven't opened up your email inbox yet, you haven't checked anything yet. You're completely fresh in the morning, and when the alarm goes off, I'm not panicking that, oh, I have to like go up immediately, but I have an hour where I really can slowly get into the day and just thinking about good stuff, which is great. Then I do an exercise, I do a shower, I eat my breakfast, and I get to work at around 7:30, right? Then at 12, I go to the gym, right? So I'm doing some strength training for about like 40 minutes. Then I do my second meditation and I review my goals again. Then I have my lunch, I walk my dog. I walk my dog here in the morning as well, obviously. I continue to work. I work till around 6 p.m. I have my dinner, then I chill out. Then I like to read. I will talk about reading a little bit later today as well. The powerful thing about reading is that if you can learn to replace your entertainment with reading instead of doom scrolling, it will help you a lot. So if you can learn how to read books that truly help you and inspire you, it also fills your head with good stuff. Like reading is an activity you're doing, right? You're actively using your brain to read something, and then you're also visualizing what you're reading. And if you're reading good books, it can help you a ton. Obviously, you want to read books that are in line with what you're trying to achieve. And I will give you some book recommendations here. But there's a saying, right? Leaders are always readers. And most people nowadays don't read enough, or most people don't read at all. And it's enough to read like 30 minutes per day. But as you start to read more, you can read for hours. And it's very enjoyable. Then at around 20:30, I listen to my audio again for like 20 minutes. I read my definite chief aim, and then I fall asleep. And normally what I do here actually is that I fall asleep with my audio. So I also put on my audio when I sleep. So a daily schedule, extremely powerful and important. You don't have to do exactly what I do, but have a clear time when you go to bed and a clear time when you wake up, and have a morning routine and an evening routine when you're doing those different things that I will give you in this video. Will help you a ton. This is truly how you can start to brainwash yourself and remove all of these negative thoughts that you might have throughout the day, or worrying thoughts, or what if this happens, or like you're constantly thinking. A lot of the time people are thinking, and I used to do that, and it comes up all the time still, right? You're thinking about just useless stuff. And when you start to do those things, more and more of that starts to dissipate and go away, because you're filling your head first thing in the morning with the stuff that you want and that you're trying to build and work towards, and also before you go to bed and throughout the day as well, right? So this is the daily schedule. The second one is the actual Brainwash audio. This document is it's just a short introduction, or like a description, because you will have to write this out yourself. So here's how it goes, right? Sit down for like 30 minutes. You might sit down even for 60 minutes and write down your perfect life. Don't try to make the text perfect. Like, don't think about how you're writing it. Just write it as you think or as you speak, right? Just brain dump everything in this document about how much money you want to make, where you want to live, what car you want to drive, what relationship you want, what health you want, and what business you want to build. Then record it as an audio on your phone, and then listen to it every morning when you wake up, every night before you go to bed, and a few times throughout the day as well. And use your own words only. Don't use AI for this. Don't be lazy. This part needs to come from you. It needs to be your own words. So what you do is that you sit down here and you just write down your perfect life. Put on some good music and just start writing it out, right? And the longer the better, right? Your text, like, just brain dump everything. And you should write this text as you've already achieved it, right? I'm making this amount of money. Like, this is what I'm getting this amount of sales calls every single day. This is what I'm doing. Just paint a picture of what your perfect life looks like. And then you write it down, and then you simply record it on your phone. And then you can listen to that in the morning and in the evening and throughout the day. And in the beginning, you can listen through to this multiple times throughout the day. Right? When I'm out walking my dog, I play it on repeat over and over again. When I'm driving to the gym, I'm playing it over and over again. When I'm working out sometimes, I'm just playing it over and over and over and over and over and over again. And it's very enjoyable. And also what's extremely powerful about this is that when you're listening to an audio that is feeding your brain with positive things, it's very hard to think about other stuff, right? It's very hard to think about negative stuff when you're getting fed with positive stuff. So in the beginning, it's a way for you to kind of force your brain to start to think more positively about the things that you want, or more so stay focused on what it is that you're trying to do, and not having all of these other noises coming from you don't know where to trying to distract you to the other stuff, right? Super powerful exercise. The third thing is your character goal worksheet. It looks like this. Super simple as well. Write down your definite chief aim, the same way that it started in Think and Grow Rich. If you haven't read that book, I can highly recommend it. State exactly what you want, the exact amount of money you intend to earn, the date you will achieve it, the plan you will use, the plan that you will use to reach that goal, and what you will give in return, the value, service, or work that you will deliver for that amount of money that you want to earn, right? Write it in the first person as it's already real. Keep it clear and honest. Then read it every morning when you wake up and every night before you go to bed, right? So you write down what you want, how will you attain it, and what will you give back in return for this money or this thing that you want to achieve. The difference between this text and this text is that this text you're just brain dumping, because you're going to read it out loud and you're going to record it, so it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a long brain dump text, and you're recording it with your voice, and then you listen to it, right? So since you're not going to read through it every single day, you're just going to listen to it, it can be longer and less perfect, right? The definite chief aim text, though, I would keep this pretty short. Maybe like this part of a document, like half a page. And you're just very clear defining what it is that you want, how you will attain it, and what you will give back in return for it. I do not recommend putting a time limit on this, that you will achieve it by a certain day or a certain time. I like to keep that open, but make this one a little bit shorter and think through your wording a little bit more, because this is something that you will actively read every single day. So if you're going to have to read through 4 pages of text every single day, it's not that fun to do. And so I would keep this pretty short, right? So use this in combination with the text that you're listening to. And then also the next thing here is to write down a short description of the character that you want to become, right? Like, who are you? How do you look like? Or what do you look like? What do you wear? How do you carry yourself? How do people see you? And a cool thing you can do here is that you can like pick a superhero that you really like, an athlete, or a movie character that you admire, and model your character after them. Or you can pick different things from different characters as well, right? And then you can also add images of that character and images of things that you want as well, right? It kind of represents that, like your dream home, your dream apartment, your dream car, and everything else that kind of inspires you. So you can have a short character text, could be this short, right? Maybe a little bit longer, and then you can have some images as well that represent that character, right? So yeah, what does that character look like? And where do that character live? What do they do? What do they work on a daily basis? How do they think? How do they react to situation? You can write down as much as you want, right? Next thing, an annual planner. So if you go to course.com/annual planner, you have this annual planner right here, right? And this is not really super relevant to kind of the mindset part that I'm talking about here. It's more so that you can plan out on a daily basis the things that you want to work on, right? And this is something that we give to our paying customers as well. And we also help them obviously with exactly what they should work on. But once you know what your goal is, right? And once you're focusing daily on what you want, the things that you need to focus on to get there will become more clear over time as well. And you will get ideas on what to do. And if you follow a program or a course, like our free course, for example, you can also get ideas on different activities that you should do. For example, complete the free course that we have. Like every single day, I'm gonna spend 2-3 hours every single day to go through the training program or whatever it might be, right? So this is also a great resource to have. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is meditation. And meditation is something that absolutely changed my life. So I want to talk about that as well. And you can do different types of meditation. I do something called transcendental meditation. There you can also do breath meditation. You can do something called a candle or an open eye meditation as well. And the main thing though is that you do this twice per day each. And it's recommended to do it first thing in the morning, like when you wake up, as you saw on my daily schedule, and also doing it before you have your lunch, like before you eat. It's also really great. So here's how meditation changed my life. I want to talk about that, how meditation changed my life. I also want to talk about quickly what meditation is and what it's not. So I learned meditation, transcendental meditation, in March of 2020. And back then I was running a consulting business, a service-based business. And I was constantly stressed out because I had customers who were churning and leaving, and then I had to make sure that they didn't churn and didn't leave. And even though I was giving my customers really good results, like we had a customer that we took from $14 million per year to $33.6 million per year in 2 years by reducing their advertising budget in half. So we were getting great results for our customers, but I was still super scared because when I was doing their marketing. So I was constantly stressed out about losing them because we were always judged on the performance on the last month, right? So we could have like 5 great months, and then we had 1 month that wasn't that great, and then I started to freak out and panic, and I was like, hey, we need to get this better, etc., because we might lose this customer, right? So when I started doing transcendental meditation, a lot of that started to cool down. I still cared as much about my business, but I didn't have this amygdala part of my brain, like the fire alarm in my brain, just constantly stressing me out. I could chill through the day. And if something extremely bad happened in the business or in my life, I didn't get affected emotionally as I did before. So that was a huge thing. It cools your brain down. Like most people are on this beta brainwave all the time, right? And your amygdala is just going crazy. You're like panicking. Your brain is just constantly feeding you things that you need to worry about. And when you do meditation, it quiets everything out. It's tough to explain, but I can highly encourage you to test it. And then so let's talk about what meditation is and what it's not. So like meditation is not sitting still, not thinking about anything. Meditation is not having some earplugs in your head when you have a guided meditation. What meditation is focusing your thoughts, right? And you can focus your thoughts in different ways. When I do transcendental meditation, what I'm doing is that you're repeating a mantra in your head. You have like a word, a nonsensical, a word that doesn't mean anything, and you're repeating that word in your head over and over and over and over and over again. So you're focusing your thought on a mantra or a sound, basically, that you're thinking. And as you're doing that, that's how you meditate. And what happens always when you're meditating is that you start drifting your thoughts. You're like, oh, what should I eat about lunch? Or what am I going to do about this thing, etc. And when that happens, you simply take back the focus to the mantra. And you do that over and over and over again. And you do that for 20 minutes. And what happens when you become better at it is that you achieve transcendence, is what they call it. You basically are sleeping, but you're wide awake. It's a very blissful place to be. Like you are basically just existing and your mind is completely quiet and you feel amazing. And when you get out of the meditation, you feel great. So if you had something bad happening in your life, or a client leaves you, or your loved one decides to leave, or you have an argument with somebody, or something bad happens, you can literally, if you know how to do meditation, you can do meditation for 20 minutes and then you feel completely cool about it, and you can think more rationally and don't be emotionally attached to the thing that just happened, right? So that's transcendental meditation. You're focusing your thoughts. Breath meditation is the same concept. You're sitting down and you're closing your eyes and you're focusing on your breath, right? So you're just thinking about how the air is going in and out or out of your nose. And then your mind starts to wander, and then you go back to focusing on your breath again. You do that for 20 minutes. And then the third thing is like an open eye meditation. And this is where you can sit down in a dark room, preferably, and you have a candle and you just light the candle and you look into the flame and then you focus on the flame. And as your mind starts wandering, you're just going back to the focus of the flame as well. I'm doing transcendental meditation. I haven't tested too much of breath or the candle meditation, but it's extremely powerful, and it's you can talk more about like your brain, like, and also transcendental meditation is the only type of meditation that is approved by the American Heart Association, because it's proven to lower heart pressure. It's proven to actually be beneficial to you. It's not like this woo-woo thing. It's physically making you healthier by doing this, because you reduce stress. Also, a bonus is to stop news, doom scrolling, and negative input, right? This is huge. Like, you're currently already getting brainwashed by social media, news, and negative input. So just stop that. Take control over your brainwashing instead and fill your mind only with what you want. And this is why it's so powerful to have your daily schedule, right? You have your daily schedule. You're having your brainwash audio that you're listening to in the morning and multiple times throughout the day, and you have your definite chief aim they're constantly looking on as well. And if you want to have entertainment, I would highly recommend that you do reading instead. So you use books, and you're reading positive, good books where you're actually learning things, instead of watching some random dude dance on TikTok, for example, or talking about some drama between influencers, or talking about or watching the news all the time where they're only talking about negative stuff all day. It affects you more than you think. And you only truly know how much it affects you when you start to block it out and start to fill your head with the things that you want. So the 30-day challenge is to follow your daily schedule for 30 days. Super simple. Do everything that I've told you to do, and it will completely change you. So it starts with your daily schedule, right? You plan that out in that template. You write down your brainwash audio text, you record it, and you listen to it every morning and every night as you have in your daily schedule. You have your definite chief aim text that you write down a little bit shorter, and you read that in the morning, before lunch as well, after your meditation if you decide to do that. And also before you go to bed, you have your, and that's basically it. Then you can have your annual planner as well if you want to. But the main thing is to plan out your daily schedule and follow that for 30 days and truly, truly stick to it. And then you print all documents as well, as I talked about earlier, right? So print out your definite chief aim and your character document, your daily schedule, and you bundle that together, right? So you have your daily schedule, your definite chief aim, and your character document, and you also have your recorded audio as well, right? And then you bundle those together. And then you print multiple copies of this as well. So you can have one copy next to your bed, you can have one copy next to your workstation where you sit and work, and you can have another one in any other spot in your house or apartment where you normally spend a lot of time, like maybe in your car or in your living room. Like right now I'm in the living room, so I have a copy right here as well, because normally when I do my meditation here, I don't have to go upstairs and go to the bed and find the text. I have it right here. So just place it at different spots throughout the house, so it's always near and handy to you, so you can just pick it up and read it. And then you read this multiple times throughout the day. So first thing in the morning, just before you go to bed, and multiple times throughout the day as well, right? Super important. And if that is really the 30-day challenge. And to finalize this, I also want to give you some book recommendations, right? So leaders are always readers. It's a saying, and it's so true. And most people don't read at all nowadays, which is a huge competitive advantage for you, because if you can stop doing this negative doom scrolling stuff and you can actually start to read stuff, you will learn more. You will progress more. So read every day for at least 30 minutes, right? And use it as a replacement for social media, movies, drama, and like series for entertainment. And below are some great books that I recommend, right? So a lot of people, including myself, have been like absolutely addicted to the phone. As soon as you're bored, you open up your phone, you start doom scrolling and stuff, and you send funny reels to your friends. The sooner you can start to, and it's hard to block that out, but the easiest way to block that out is to have your daily schedule that you follow on a daily basis, and you use this for kind of entertainment. If you're bored, put on your brainwash audio and listen to that and go for a walk, right? And if you truly want something to entertain you, learn how to read books instead. And a lot of people have a hard time reading because they've never read in their life, right? A lot of people haven't read a book. And then if like what book did you read the past 12 months? Most people haven't read a book in the past 12 months, right? So if you have a hard time reading and if you want to get into it, a great tip is to buy the physical book so that you can actually read it, but also buy the audiobook so that you can listen to the book as you're reading it, and that helps a lot as well. And if you want to read a very complex book that has like tough words, or you're reading some like complex sentences or complex ideas, it can also help a lot to have somebody read it out for you. So here's a great book. I want to give you 5 book recommendations. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Great book. That is literally the book that completely changed the trajectory of my life. That's the book that I read when I was stuck in my day job, and it made me understand that if I wanted to change my life, I needed to first define what I wanted and then start thinking about that goal all the time. And when I started to think about that goal all the time, meaning I started to brainwash myself, I started to want to take action that were in line with that. So great book. The Magic of Believing, extremely powerful book as well. It Works, the famous little red book that makes your dreams come true. It's like you can read that book in like, 20 minutes maybe, 15. And it basically, the whole idea of that book is that you're constantly writing down with pen and paper what it is that you want. Another way to brainwash yourself, just write down your goal over and over and over again. The Magic of Thinking Big, amazing book as well. And then Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, which basically talks about your self-identity and how you can change, or not, they don't talk about how to change it, but they talk about the why you need to have a positive and empowering self-image and how it affects you. Really good book as well. So that is really it from this video, and that is the 30-day mindset challenge that I wanted to give you. Test it out and run it for 30 days, and you will be surprised how it affects you and helps you. And if it does, send me a message and let me know. See you in the next video.